Gbawo Media, where we are dedicated to promoting the Nigerian hustle. On today's episode of our Nigerian Hustle Series, we're so pleased to welcome Ms. Rolake Adesina to the show. Now, some of you looking might be like, this girl looks familiar to me. And that's because you may have seen her on the stage, on your TV screen, in films, all over the place, on her YouTube channel, giving us deep monologues on Instagram. That's where she might be familiar to you. Or you might be saying, I don't know her from that. Maybe her name looks familiar. I've seen her credits on some of the many short films and documentaries about important societal issues that she's done. Maybe you don't recognize her from that. Maybe you say, there was one time I was in court and I saw somebody who looked like her. That's because she's also a lawyer. We're gonna talk about how Ms. Rolake balances all these things as she's working to becoming a great actress in the Nollywood community and beyond, making important issues of the day, documentaries and features of issues that we need to talk about, especially as Nigerians. She's a wonderfully nice person, most importantly. So we're here today to hear about her personal story and how she brings characters and stories to life. So Rolake, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Faye. I'm so glad to be here.
Hey, so before we get into all your creative and professional accomplishments, let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Young Rolake, can you tell us where you were born?
Okay, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, Ikeja to be precise. Yeah, at the hospital I lasted. I have like 6 siblings. I have a very close and extended family. So my cousins and I are also very close, always having vacations at each other's houses. And I remember young Rolake just always knew what she wanted somehow. I can remember 7-year-old me disturbing my family members with stories that I write. I write stories and cast Jim Ike and Vita Dominic in it and myself and Omotola in it. And I would say, I would also be the director. 7-year-old I just need director producer. I didn't know what that roles like makeup and costume and DOP. So yeah, I've just always known that I was going to be doing this somehow. Yeah, that was it.
You said at 7 you were disturbing everybody with your stories, you were directing, but do you remember what made you like it? What made you interested in going to do those things as a young child?
I think watching movies. I just watched the movies and I just felt really drawn to them. Like, this is something I can do. This seems nice, and hasn't changed a bit since then. So yeah.
You gave your dreams come true.
Oh, thank God.
You have 6 brothers and sisters. What are some fun memories that you have growing up in the Adesina household?
Putting some of my siblings and my cousins together and forcing them to do a stage play. Forcing them to do stage plays, or I was there to read newspapers from my dad and read it to everybody. So yeah, that was fun.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your parents, just generally?
Okay. My mom lives in Nigeria. Dad lives in Canada. He's been there for a bit. They're really cool. They've been supportive, not directly, but now they look at what I've done and they're like, okay, fine, we give up and do it. But initially they were not sure. They're like, is it maybe like peer pressure? Maybe you're just seeing people act and you want to act. But now that the vision is like getting clearer, they understand and they're nice. They're both Yorubas. So my mom is from Ekiti, dad is from Osun. So that's it.
That's cool. All right. What do your brothers and sisters think about your acting, your films, everything you've done?
They are proud. They are really proud, especially when I had Osame Day in December. Yeah. Everybody came out, like everybody. Nuclear extended family. Even my sister that was in Canada was wishing she was in Nigeria. Just telling everybody, my sister's in the stage, I've seen her on the paper. I said, hey, okay. So yeah, they're really proud of me and they're, rooting for me and just waiting for like the bigger things I'm going to do. So
That's
yeah.
so great. That's so great. And we're gonna talk about the Queen Osamide later in the interview because I read a lot of reviews and you killed that. But what about secondary school, university? Like in some of those areas in life, you're able to act in stage productions they do in school. You're able to do some creative writing. Did you find yourself doing those things in your before you got a bit older?
Definitely. Aside from church, almost every creative starts from church. Why?
I don't know.
Starting from church, I remember the first drama I ever acted in my life was probably Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus. I think I was like 6, 5, thereabouts. Church, school, going to secondary school. I don't join any other unit aside drama. Like it's just clear. That's it. And even when I got into university, studying law, I still found my way to do what I was passionate about. I remember taking risks. I remember going for a movie audition a day before my final exams. Like because I knew, okay, this I want to do for the rest of my life. So, but no, that came a lot of thinking, planning. I'm going for this audition, but I'm coming back to dedicate the many 4 hours to read for this exam. So you have to take a risk that is calculated and everything. But the biggest expression of this was when I got into law school. And I literally walked up to the pastor in the fellowship and I said, I want to do a monologue. And the man looked at me like, you just got here. I'm like, yeah, I want to do a monologue. And 2 weeks later, he just walked up to me and said, you're going to be a drama coordinator. Like, that's it's so undisputed. So yeah. And even in law school, there's a course we take every Friday called ethics. Yeah. And luckily for me, our assignments are always like a dramatic presentation. So Fridays are like my happiest days of the week because I get to act in class. So everybody just knew that this one. So yeah, even through school, I was always expressing that side of me. Like I just can't help it. Really, that's it.
I like that. Which university did you go to?
University of Lagos.
University of Lagos. And then you went to Nigerian law school, but you went to the Bielsa campus. Yes. Okay. I feel like the Bielsa campus doesn't get enough, enough love, enough discussion. Is Abuja, Lagos to talk about? Can you tell us the experience a little bit day to day of being a Bielsa student?
Okay. I think a few things have changed right now, but when I was there 2018, we had like literally the least population because we were new. There wasn't an airport in Bielsa at that time, so I had to fly to Port Harcourt, then cab to the campus. So we're barely like 400 compared to Lagos and Abuja that had, so everybody kind of knew everybody. So the environment was really, it was like people living in a mini estate. So it wasn't like law school. That's how it felt. The environment was serene. I'm quite adventurous. So when I heard I was going to Bielsa, I didn't even try to, do anything about it. Meeting people from like different tribes, eating their food. They initiated me into banga soup. It was an initiation.
And you never look back.
Yeah, it was really cool. To be honest, I liked it. It was really serene. Can be very cold in the morning. It was just nice. The air had this scent that I can still recall anytime I think about it. So it was a nice experience. Sure.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about the decision to go to law school, to pursue law? Because you've kind of known from a young age that your passion really is in the arts, in creativity, in acting, in filmmaking. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us, I think I kind of know why, but can you tell us a bit about why you decided to go to law school?
Okay. So like you said, from a little age, I already knew what I wanted. But presenting it to the powers that be, the people that have the funds to send you to school. They're paying the piper, so it was like a little negotiation. My dad left to him, he was like, medicine. I'm like, I don't think I have the brains for science. I'm an artistic person, it's not going to work. He said, okay. Economics, I'm like, I'm not interested, unless you want me to fail out of school. So it was just, for him, it was like, he knows that he wants me to act, that's fine. But it just felt like getting a degree in it wasn't necessary. And I wanted a degree anyways. So that day I was just like, okay, what do I like aside acting? I'm like, okay, law. How did I like law? From watching movies. Like everything just points back to this acting, like it's the real source. So I'm like, okay, something I can do. I can just pretend like I'm acting when I find myself in the courtroom. Okay, fine. So daddy law, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds noble. I'm like, wow, okay. So law came in, and I knew I could do it, but I just knew that I wasn't going to do it long term. But I knew I could, like I wouldn't struggle. So it's like a negotiation thing, and I'm glad it worked out.
And actually, I like what you said, law and acting, they have some like similarities. Monologues were in different clothing,
Yeah,
like
costume.
different wigs. So it actually has some, and for acting, you need a lot of confidence. And you need confidence in the courtroom. Okay. So I have a question for you. Let's say right now there's a 16, 17, 18-year-old potential actress or actor out there who's kind of fighting with their parents, like, I don't want to go to university, I want to pursue acting. But they're kind of saying, okay, get this degree and then pursue it. How would you advise them? What would you advise them in that situation?
I would actually advise them to negotiate like I did. Take on the degree that you know that you can handle. Don't do something that is beyond your intellectual capacity. If it's psychology you can handle or mass comm, take it on. But as you're studying that degree, never ever let your passion die out. Do it alongside. When you're on vacations for a week, or a month, 3 months, dive into acting or whatever. Just make sure that as you're doing that, your passion doesn't die. So when you leave, you'd even be a better person. Just don't let the passion die, no matter where you find yourself. That's just it.
That's good advice. So you didn't let the passion die, but you finished law school and you were called in 2020. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You served, correct? And you were, I think I did some stalking on your Instagram. I think you were Miss NYSC. Before we get into anything else, we need to hear more about you being Miss NYSC, please. Please tell us the story.
Okay, so after law school, everybody was celebrating. My finally lawyer, so 6 years not going down the drain. So NYSC was like vacation for me. Let me go and rest. I mean, reading for 6 years. As I was packing my bags, an older friend was like, "Oh, just go there and play and even contest from Miss NYSC." I was like, "Oh, there's something like that." He said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever. Shall when I get there?" I got to NYSC and I was disappointed. First week, I was just in the sun marching. I said, "Wait, where's the phone I was promised? This is a scam." I was down. But second week, I just heard, "Oh, we're having shows very soon, and we're going to have a drama competition." My spirits just came alive. I said, "Hey, now we are talking. Now camp just started." So as I was rehearsing for drama, I was dancing. My platoon members were like, "Okay, so it's time for us to choose a representative." I wasn't very, very keen on that. I could just pick anybody. There are many fine girls in our platoon and all. Somehow all the girls were declining. I don't know if they were shy or anything, they were declining. And when they asked me, I was like, "It's just to compete now. It's not to do that. Yeah, let's do this." They're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." I came here to play, so I can just play all I want. So I started preparing. I started studying. I wanted to stop reading. I had to read because they asked you questions at the pageants. I was like, "What's this now?" I left reading in law school. Started preparing. They got me a dress, everything, blah, blah, blah. The day came, I answered the questions properly. I catwalked as much as I could. Right? And they announced the winner, and the winner wasn't me. I was like, "Okay, no problem." Then 30 seconds later, they were like, "Oh, it was a mistake. Sorry. The winner is actually Platoon 5, and that was me." Everybody's there screaming.
Why did they trick you like that?
I don't know. I didn't even know if the deliberator was a genuine mistake. I don't know. But me, I didn't have a do or die affair towards it. I'm like, let's just play. So, I won. Everybody was screaming. I was like, wow, nice. Okay, cool. This is nice.
Awesome. So in the history of that camp, somewhere is written that you were Miss NYC that year. That batch. I love it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. NYC comes to an end. You're
Hmm.
finally kind of free. You've done the schooling, you've done for others. Now,
Mm.
now what do you do to kind of get yourself into that acting?
All right. So like I said, the fact that I was still doing acting with my law degree helped because as far back as uni, I was there. So the contacts I had from then, I just kept on like building and expanding the network. Um, yeah. But the real beginning of it was okay. So now I'm done with NYC, I'm done with school. How to like break into film? It was really tough because before then, majority of what I did was stage acting with Ifeoma Fafanwa, the director of Harewood. So I remember before NYC finished, the period finished, I was actually serving in a law firm. I was in a law firm, and they all knew that this girl is crazy. She won't be a lawyer for the rest of her life. They just knew. Because that's when I started shooting my YouTube videos inside that law firm. I wonder how I wasn't sanctioned. Like they just like just leave her. This one is not okay. Just leave her. So I was just like, how do I break in? How do I break in? How do I break in? So I thought to myself, okay, if there isn't an opportunity, why don't you create one? So I'm like, okay, why don't I write a script, and act in it? So that's how Perfecto came. So right there in the law firm, I think 2-3 months before the end of NYC, I started writing the script. I started talking to all my friends in Lagos, started paying for locations and all everything right in that law firm. Like my spirit had already left the law firm, just my body was there. My mind was just perfect. So let me get back to Lagos because I finished NYC October 3rd. October 4th, I was back in Lagos. We shot Perfecto October 5th. Like I was just moving, you know. So I shot Perfecto, started getting some recognitions outside the country. Then I attended a an event for filmmakers. I wanted to like get funding from Tony Elumelu. And that's where I met the owner of Born Awards, Best of Nollywood. And I was like, oh, what do you do? And I sent to Perfecto. I was like, okay, wow, come and be my associate producer. And that's how I got into making the documentaries and SARS, Rising Stars, and all of that. So it was basically just me creating an opportunity for myself where like I didn't find opportunities. Because back in NYC, remember one time I left, NYC wasn't in Badon actually, not even Lagos. I left NYC to come to Lagos for a sugar audition. So like nothing was coming through. I'm like, no, I have to create this thing. I won't wait for somebody to like give me the opportunity and all. So that was really the birth of everything, to be honest. Yeah.
And you said that Perfecto, which is your short film, got some recognition. I don't know why you're being modest. That's quite a few awards for that short film, which is actually available on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How did you raise the capital? Okay, you write the script. How did you raise the capital, the funding, get the videographer, the editor, the actors? That takes a lot of organization on your part. How did you not get discouraged like, oh, this project is too big for me to pursue? How did you decide, okay, I'm gonna take it bit by bit and just do it?
Yes, sir. Back to what I said earlier, networking, friends over the years, make sure you have friends in the industry, even if they seem insignificant. That person might just be like your saving grace like the next year. So I've had friends, I attend a lot of boot camps for artists. So I just kept on like building on my network. So when I wanted to do Perfecto, I knew the right people to call. And they had just gone beyond being colleagues. They became friends that I could trust. So I even like financially, I didn't have to pay for too many things. I didn't pay any of my friends. They were just excited to like come on board. What I had to cover up was our accommodation and feeding, and even some of that they decided to take it on themselves. So like the power of networking, friendships is really, really important. So that really helped. It helped a lot. Because if not, I'd have been frustrated. So yeah, it helped. It made working with them like a lot more easier. They also brought friends of theirs that I didn't know who could help out. So it just kept on like, expanding like that. That was it, really.
And for those people out there, the unfortunate few who have not seen Perfecto yet, can you give us a brief a brief synopsis about the short film.
Okay. So initially I wanted to write something about drug abuse, substance abuse, right? But I'm like, that's quite a common topic. Why don't I write about somebody who unfortunately people see him as somebody who has like perfect personality, but he has his own struggles. So that was the message for me. I didn't want to use a female character because I felt that was like overflow. But I want to use a guy that seems probably perfect. And because people already see you as this most amazing personality, now like silences you, doesn't make you like be vulnerable and also like a mental struggle film, not really about drug abuse. And yeah, that was it. I'm just happy, like, the way it came out and all, and people got the message.
People should really watch it. It's really thought provoking. That's what I would use to say it. Okay, so you said that you kind of felt like, okay, some of these auditions is not going as quickly as I wanted, so I'm going to create a space for myself. Is that why, aside from the filmmaking, you decided to also really like enhance your YouTube and your like Instagram monologues to get yourself out there? And how important is that for young actors, especially in Nigeria, to kind of put the control in their own hands and put their own selves out there?
Yeah, it's very important because we're even like the lucky ones. Putting monologues online where anybody in the world could see it couldn't have happened 10 years ago. So we should actually count ourselves lucky that we belong to this generation and just take advantage of it. It's really important because some of my monologues have actually gotten me jobs. I got a Samede through a monologue I randomly posted. Like, it's really important. You might think, oh, I'm not getting 10,000 views. It's just one person's view you need. Just one. So just put it out there, let people see you. They might not say anything, but one day just like, oh, you did something. That character you portray is similar to what my friend is writing right now. Just come up, and that's how it will be. So just keep doing it, keep putting yourself out there. But just make sure as you're putting yourself out there, like the next monologue is better than the former one because you have to keep improving. Don't just be on that same line. No, and you need to be versatile too. If you're posting a monologue about somebody was abused today, don't do the same thing next week. Post a boss, or you being a bus conductor next week, then you being a president's daughter the week after, like that. You just let them know that you can really evolve and be versatile. So yeah.
Yeah, and you are the queen of versatility because I was looking at your YouTube channel and I kind of know you as doing like dramatic roles, but you have so many comedic roles under you, like the corporate beggar, like just job interviews, the way you're just reacting without even saying anything, it's like hilariously funny. So I agree with you that you're able to show that you can act dramatically, funny, serious, you are very, very versatile, very versatile. But
Thank you.
not everyone who acts also can write or make films or vice versa. What makes you kind of love both, like acting and also producing, creating the whole story? What makes you like both of those?
I like to own my own things. Like I said, 7-year-old me wasn't just acting; she was also writing and casting G-Mike and Peter Dominic and co in it. So right from time I knew that I wasn't just going to act, I'm also going to write my own stories. So I'm a storyteller. I put my friends in school together, I just tell them stories, not real and unreal, So I love it. I also like to tell stories that people would probably like run away from and shy away from. So if nobody's going to tell it, I'm going to tell it. What's the worst that can happen? I'm going to tell it. So, yeah, I just love it. Writing, directing. I really want to like get a hang of like every aspect of film, even costume design, makeup, but major in acting, writing, directing, producing, right? Because I'm a film girl. It's my world. I can't run away from it. So, yeah.
I can't run away from it. And I like that you said that because looking through some of your credits, you've done narration, you've done music selection, you've done obviously different types of producing. So you are there's nothing about a film project that would kind of intimidate you because you've done a lot of different things. But speaking about being not not fearful of talking about taboo topics, especially in Nigeria. Your film, masculine, but it's masculine, which is very,
Right.
talks about the issue about domestic violence targeted towards a man.
Mm.
Why did you want to, and it's a very, very beautiful way that you put it all together. And you can see his vulnerability a lot, especially when he's in the police station. How did you decide that this is the story you want to tell? And how did you go about bringing that to life?
Okay. Masculine came from there's a competition by the United Nations. Yes, they posted it and they said they wanted stories about domestic violence. So I saw it. I called my same team from Perfect to them, my team till now. And I said, guys, let's enter into this competition. We can win. And they're like, okay, cool. Well, I can write the script as usual. After I wrote the script, I started asking myself, well, okay, why is your victim a lady? Why? Because before I started submitting and I watched some submissions and all victims were women. But I was like, and I also studied the organizers. Their past winners, the victims were just women. So somewhere in my heart, I knew it's time for you to do something different, regardless of the fact that you win or not. But I kept that thought to myself. I didn't tell anybody. Then somebody from my team, his name is Steven, he directed Perfecto. He now brought it up. He read the script and I was like, okay, why is our victim a woman? I said, okay, I give up. Our victim is a man. Because he was like, for him, it was like, that's a very common story. But for me, it was not really about that. It's the fact that I'm a feminist, right? But I'm a feminist who isn't like a radical feminist, right? I believe like equal opportunity for both sexes. So if I'm fighting for the rights of women, I'm also doing that for men. You know, I'm not a sexist or the kind of feminist that people think feminists are men haters. I am not. So if the same measure for a man for a woman, except like biological difference and all. So I'm like, okay, so men do actually go through this thing. Nobody talks about it. Let us do this. So from that moment, I said, whether or not I win the competition, it's not my business. Let's just like tell the truth in this story. And that was just it. So we did it. Yeah, that was it. That's how masculine came.
Yeah, I always kind of look forward to your documentaries or short films because it's going to be about an issue that needs more attention. But speaking about how you get it, what is your writing process like? Because I'm sure someone out there watching you is like, wow, I would love to do this. I would love to see my idea come to life. But the thought of writing a whole script is so intimidating. Can you tell us a bit about the writing process?
Okay, to be honest, I like the word you used. It can be intimidating. Maybe that's why I haven't like a lot of people don't know this, but I haven't written a feature film, a full-length film like myself. It has to be myself and somebody from my team. But writing short films is actually easy because it's not long. So I have the idea and then I criticize myself like 10,000 times. I write, I cancel. I write, I cancel. Oh, this doesn't make sense. Oh, this doesn't make sense. But when I finally get the idea that makes sense, then somehow I know. Like one of my films, The Jar, that was talking about climate change crisis and everything. I was like, I want to tell the story of climate change using something gross. I thought about it. Oh, let's use Mother Nature. But I just sat down, like, what if there's droughts in the world one day and we all have to depend on urine as the only form of liquid in our bodies? So when the idea came, like, that's it. After counseling like 10 strips, I criticize myself a lot. Like when something doesn't make sense, I actually know. Before I ask somebody, I know. So right, and God just really helps me, till I get the right story and I start to flesh it out. And once I get the idea, I'm done in 5 minutes. That's how it works for me. So, yeah.
You're just right. Like you have so many. I need your efficiency in life. One more documentary I want to talk about is your NSARS that you worked on. I think that's such a important issue, not just to talk about then, but also to continue talking about because there's continuing fallouts and still victims from that. But during that time, there was a lot of international coverage, CNN,